Seems to have done it. Welcome, folks. I know some folks are joining us right now. So we are going to get started very shortly. Just very quickly in the chat, if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves. We want to know who's in the room. So please let us know your name, the organization that you're with, and your role with the organization before we get started. Oh, we have some raised hands. Okay, so you should have the opportunity to communicate with everyone in the chat now. So because this is a webinar, our communication is through the chat. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing some people introduce yourselves. I see the Workforce Equity Lab is here. We have Youth Leadership Institute and oh, so many folks. Awesome. Okay. This is working. All right. So we are going to get started. So thank you everyone for joining. We are not going to take up too much of your time. Just once again, thank you so much. This presentation is being recorded and a copy is going to be sent to everyone after the presentation is concluded. So everyone will have access to come back and refer to this presentation whenever they are needed. If this presentation is going to be 45 minutes long, and we are going to be ending it with a question answer session at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, you can enter them in the chat. We have support staff joining us today. We're going to be managing the questions that come up during the presentation. And if they can be answered during the presentation, they will, as well as at the end for our Q&A session. So, and if we're not able to answer your question, feel free to contact us after the presentation, and we'll make sure to get you your answer as soon as possible. Next slide. So the things we're going to cover today is we're going to be covering how grants are decided. We're going to be covering the grant opportunities that are going to be offered this year. We have a couple of changes, and we also have a new opportunity that's going to be announced during this presentation. We're going to be covering some tips to make a strong application, as well as going over our application portal and just showing you all just very quickly how to create an account and view and ultimately submit your application. Next slide. So joining me today is our board member, Brenda McDowell. She's also a long-term board member of Precious Lamb. She's worked with Long Beach Unified School District, and she's also chair of the grants committee. So she's going to be leading our grants committee in really finding the best and strongest applications to support this year. Thank you, Brenda, for joining us.
And thank you, Isis. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you in the chat room for joining us today. It's going to be a very informative webinar. And if you could answer in the chat, how familiar are you with Long Beach Community Foundation? That would help us to know. Maybe you've applied before, maybe this is your first time joining us. but that would be really nice if you could do that. I see.
I see a lot of
Yeah,
first timers.
I do too. That's awesome. So now we're going to talk about how grants are decided. This is an important part of the application process. So let's get into it. So Long Beach Community Foundation manages over 200 funds, and these grants are distributed differently from different fund types. Many are decided by donors, others by the Long Beach Community Foundation Board, and others by nonprofit committees. So last year in 2024, Long Beach Community Foundation granted over 3.5 million dollars to nonprofits locally and nationally. And of that, 170,000 was a Long Beach Community Foundation Board decided. So we're going to go to the next one. So now we're going to talk about this is important, our grant process overview. And all grant applications are open today, so make sure that you start working on your applications and submit it to the Long Beach Community Foundation Grants portal. There's actually two rounds. Round one is the review. We review all applications submitted by the people and the applicants. And then round two, we've chosen applicants. Applications are then reviewed by the grants committee, excuse me. And then round three is approval selection of the applications that are approved, and we approved by the Long Beach Community Foundation Board of Directors. They approve the applications at that time. And so now this is important, the factors that the community Long Beach Foundation Grants Committee, these are factors that we consider when you're writing your application. Please make sure that you fill in answer all the questions. If you have to put a line through to let us know that we didn't miss anything in the application process. So make sure you fill in all the questions. And then look at how closely your program or project aligns with the grant criteria, and look at how many people in your program or project this will impact. Also look at how many people will be affected by the funding from the foundation. Look at how sustainable your program is or your project. Can it sustain the money that we probably will hopefully, reward? And look at how your operations budget compares to your project budget. Look at that. That's important. And are you partnering with any other organizations? This is something that we look at, but it's important to make sure that you fill out all the boxes and answer all the questions in the application, because this is something that we don't want to have to send the application back or call you or, to see if you forgot to fill in that question. So it's very important that you do look at all the boxes, check all the boxes. Isis, I'm going to hand it over to Isis now.
Just very briefly, just want to go over a couple of the grant opportunities that are available through Long Beach Community Foundation. We have on the top row our competitive grant applications that are directly reviewed by Long Beach Community Foundation. So we have Community Impact Fund, Fenny Community Fund, and our Airport Noise Ordinance Neighborhood Impact Fund. That is a mouthful of a name. And then we also have a competitive grant that is a donor advised fund, that is our Katie Stone Memorial Fund. We have two nonprofit committee decided grants that are also receiving applications. We'll cover those. And then we have two additional opportunities that are also funded through the Long Beach Community Foundation, which we will be going over in the grant opportunities section of our presentation. And so our next section is going to be talking about the grant opportunities, and Brenda is actually going to be covering our community impact fund.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Isis. So with the Long Beach Community Foundation, the Impact Fund, each year the foundation board strategically chooses one or more issues based on the current and emerging needs of the community. So in 2025, this year, we're going to focus our grants, and they will be awarded to support programs that best address the post-pandemic learning loss recovery and or the emotional mental health needs of our youth and young youth in the young adults in the Long Beach community. We look at what the pandemic has done to our children, and we're hoping that we can still focus on rewarding these grants with this focus in mind. And the grants are awarded between $10,000 and $25,000. Okay. And the applications start today. They're open today. And the deadline is going to be June 5th. And we will award, the notifications will be sent out to you by the end of July. These are important dates to know. Thanks. And now it's Isis, your turn.
Thank you. So I'm going to be first talking about our Fenny Community Fund. We can go to the next slide. So the Fenny Community Fund was actually established through an estate gift by the late Jack Fenny, who was a longtime resident of Avalon on Catalina Island. And his fund was created to support broad and general charitable purposes for children in the communities of Avalon and Long Beach. And historically, we've always granted to organizations that are supporting either in Long Beach or Catalina Island. And this year, we do want to announce that we are going to have an additional allocation of funds available specifically to support Avalon and Catalina Island. Again, thanks to the support and the desires of this donor who passed and was a longtime resident of the island. So there will be some priority being given potentially to programs that are supporting the island and that community. Once again, for Fenny, because it is broad and really just serving children, the Long Beach Community Foundation Board is really looking at programs that are supporting underserved communities, disadvantaged youth as well, and really focusing and prioritizing those communities as well. The grant sizes vary from $5,000 to $10,000. And like I said, this year we are having an additional allocation of funds that are going to be directly supporting the Avalon community. Just some quick dates to know. Our deadline for this grant opportunity is August 7th, and award notifications are sent out at the end of September. So you will be receiving an email notification. If you are awarded, you may also be receiving a phone call from either myself or one of our board members. The Airport Noise Ordinance Neighborhood Impact Fund. This grant was started by a fine from an airline that violated the noise restrictions of the Long Beach airport. And this is really to support and benefit the residents that are living within the flight path of the Long Beach airport. So that's, in and around the Long Beach airport area, but also the Bixby Knolls area, Cal Heights neighborhoods, and just south of the Long Beach airport as well. On our website, we do have a link to a PDF map that shows the area, the geographical area that is supported by this grant opportunity. And the maximum grant size is typically $15,000. So this grant application has the same deadline, August 7th, as FENI, and also notifications are going out at the end of September. If you think your program may qualify, like I said, we are looking for programs that are benefiting the residents. And one of the ways that the board has really seen the most benefit is programs that are directly connecting residents with the nonprofits, bringing people out, encouraging neighborliness amongst the residents, and just providing that benefit to get to know the community. Our Katie Stone Memorial Fund is a donor advised fund. So this is not reviewed by our board of directors. However, the fund advisors to this fund review the submitted applications and make the recommendation to Long Beach Community Foundation. And this was started in honor of the late Katie Stone. She was a huge advocate for development in youth and really supporting mind, body, and spirit all together, really supporting the whole child development ideology. So these grants really look for programs that are connecting work and play, mental stimulation as well as physical stimulation. There are multiple different ways to really combine the learning and development experience. And the Katie Stone Memorial Fund really looks to programs that are capitalizing on that combination of skills. And so the max grant size for this opportunity is typically $25,000. However, because it is a donor advised fund, the fund advisors can sometimes recommend a smaller grant amount to multiple organizations, or they may decide to award one or two large grants depending on who they see as the most fit to really embody the spirit of Katie Stone. And just a quick note, if you do have any questions, my colleague Tara Sievers is monitoring the chat, so you can write down your questions and she is able to answer, or you can also hold off and ask your question at the end for our Q&A. So for Katie Stone, the deadline to apply is June 5th, and award notifications are sent out at the end of July. Our Navy Memorial Heritage Association is a nonprofit committee decided grant. They have a slightly different schedule than us, and this grant opportunity is looking for historical preservation, restoration, and rehabilitation of Long Beach landmarks. So this could be architectural, this could be in terms of looking for public landscapes or also contributing structures in historic neighborhoods. These grants are awarded up to $50,000. And if we go to the next slide, the dates for this do vary. We have an LOI for this opportunity, which will open in September. So right now it is not available. It will be available to submit your letter of intent in September. And if you are invited to submit a full proposal, that deadline is usually the mid-December to submit full proposal. And then award notifications are made the following February, March of that year. We have a new nonprofit committee decided grant opportunity this year from Community Hospital of Long Beach Foundation. And the Community Hospital Foundation grants are looking to support healthcare related programs and services, as well as scholarships for students pursuing education in the medical and healthcare fields. You can see on the screen here that there are multiple programs that can be covered from this grant opportunity. And if we go to the next slide, we are still pending an application deadline. However, a notification will be going out to folks once a deadline has been established, but you can view the application today, and we are accepting applications. And if you would like to receive a notification for when we have a deadline established, you can email your organization's contact information and we will add you to our system to be notified via email once that happens. So next is our National Philanthropy Day grant opportunity. This was an initiative started by our board of directors many years ago, and its goal is to support our board members getting out into the community, getting folks volunteering and having philanthropic intent throughout Long Beach. This grant is to support a beautification project. Does your building need a facelift? Maybe a new paint job or some new plants. Something that can be done, we like to say with unskilled hands, that we can bring a group of people together one day just to give a huge beautification to a public facing area. One of the things is we do like it to be public facing, so no interior projects are accepted for this grant. We do want to see it, make sure that it's publicly visible. We like for the project to happen on or around National Philanthropy Day, which is a holiday, and it's on November 15th. So, and it's up to $5,000 for this grant size. If you think you have a program that may qualify, we are accepting applications, but we are also shifting the strategy of how we decide grants will be awarded. On this slide, you can see a couple of our past grantees for this grant opportunity. We've supported Long Beach Organic. They revitalized their Zafria neighborhood garden and made it a lot more ADA compliant. And so we spent the day digging up vegetables and plants and also replanting new ones. And we've also supported Rising Tide a couple years ago. We rejuvenated their play area, which faces the street. We painted their play area. We planted new plants, and we also worked on signage to go outside of their premises. The other opportunity that the other funding source that we have is Knight Foundation Fund. This is probably our largest grant that we currently administer annually. And we look for projects that inform and engage communities. We're looking to seek up local momentum. So looking to connect residents and really inspire assets, resources. If we can keep clicking through the slide, we're looking to advance city core vibrancy. We've activated, events at Lincoln Park. We've taught residents how to, go through the RFP proposal to make improvements in city neighborhoods, and just really looking for that civic engagement, that entrepreneurship, design. Knight Foundation is really committed to public spaces, really just things that can be replicated in multiple cities, not just Long Beach. If we can keep clicking through this one, these are large scale projects. And one of the requirements for funding is that they do need to have a matching donation already committed. So something that is already looked at, something that's already having momentum and eyes and vision toward that grant and that project and that program. Again, things that can be replicated to other cities. These grant sizes typically range from $100,000 to $200,000, and it is by invitation only. So we are currently not accepting applications. However, once we have more information or once we have more to announce, we will be informing everyone of these upcoming opportunities. All right, so now we're going to move on very quickly to our grant application tips. And just a question for the chat, if you have seen any challenges that you've experienced when submitting grant applications, we'd love to hear what some of those are. Is it that, the website takes too long to load? Are you still doing a paper application that you need to mail in? So maybe the reporting requirements are too strict. Are we asking too many questions? What are some challenges that you've experienced, not just with Long Beach Community Foundation, but submitting other grant applications? So just very quickly, some grant application tips for us. We really want our applicants to paint a picture, even if we know you, even if we're familiar with you, if you have board members who also serve on our board, don't assume that we know you. Please give us details about your organization, clearly tell your story, what you're seeking, what your goals are. Are your goals measurable? How are they measurable? And we really want to have that full picture to understand what the program is. Be clear with your budget, especially our Long Beach Community Foundation, where that grant funding would fit if you were awarded. Because we're so limited with our funding, it's a little difficult sometimes to understand, how our funding would impact your program or project. Are your website and social media websites up to date? Again, we want to be able to see, your website, see what you're up to activity-wise. So having an active online presence does help. I do see some things in the chat right now, submitting information in a portal when it's not working correctly, or a fixed document that does not allow sufficient text and not replying to email correspondence. That definitely sounds like a huge burden. Also, poor or no feedback regarding submitted materials, inability to redirect, improve, or even determine if we should apply again. Definitely understand that. If you have any questions as to whether or not your program would qualify, sometimes it's easier just to set up a meeting with me. We can go over the program and see if it's worth going through the time to submit an application, because we don't want anyone to submit an application that does not fit and won't make it through to the second round. Ultimately, we want to make sure that each application is a strong contender for grant funding. So if you have any questions about whether or not you should take the time to submit an application, sometimes it's easier just to set up some time with me prior to the deadline. I would say well ahead of the deadline so that you also have time in the future. And
Isis, I just wanted to chime in too to make sure that they do fill out the complete application. That's something that we have run into a lot where there's a blank question and it's not answered. There's nothing there to indicate if you read it or not, or did you miss the question. And that's something that we really look at. So please make sure you fill out the entire application.
yes, even if it's an NA or just something to let us know that you did see the question, but it was not applicable.
Yeah, a line or anything to indicate that you did see that question.
And so our next session, we're going to be going over the application portal. So how do you find us online? Go to our website, longbeachcf.org/grants, and you can click on the grant portal. Or you can also go just directly to the online application portal, which is goapply2.akoyago.com/LBCF. So once you're there, you can either sign into your account if you already have one, or you can create an account. I do want to say for this, if you are an agency fund holder with the Long Beach Community Foundation and you have a connection to your GoFund portal, you do not need to create an account. You can simply sign in with the same credentials as your GoFund login. So that is for our agency fund holders who have funds with the Long Beach Community Foundation. Everyone else will need to create an account. Once you're there, you'll see under the tab Opportunities, the grants that are currently accepting applications. And you can click View, and then that'll take you to the application where you can hit Apply, and that will take you to the application form. And that is the end of our presentation. I do see a couple of questions in the Q&A that I can address. So the GoFund information is for our clients, so our agency fund holders who have a fund with us. They have logged in to their GoFund. If you are an agency fund holder with us and you have not logged into your fund holder portal, reach out to my colleague Tara Sievers, who will give you that connection link and you can log in. And like I said, you do not need to create an account for our Go Apply, and that's our grant application portal. They are different links, but you can use the same login. Updated past recipients on the website, those are not currently up on our website, but they will be. We are currently working to update our website to make sure that everything's up to date. But you will be able to see who has been awarded in the past and for which programs. And CF fund for women. So we have a question here. It says, would the LBCF fund workforce development for women? So right now, the grant opportunities that we presented are currently what is available. We are a growing foundation, and we hope to be able to fund broader programs in the future. However, at this time, the grant opportunities that were covered today are currently what is administered and managed directly by Long Beach Community Foundation. We do house several donor advised funds that make recommendations on a daily, weekly basis. We are constantly receiving grant recommendations from our very generous donors in Long Beach who are supporting programs across Long Beach and nationwide.
Isis, we're getting a lot of questions about wanting to maybe have a quick call with you in advance to see if their program's a good fit and the best way to reach you. And I'm suggesting by email is the best way. And I've put your email, it's on our website, but I've also put it in the chat.
Thank you, Tara. Yeah, and if we go to the thing slide, that one right here is my contact information. So my email is issis@longbeachcf.org. And you can also give us a call to our office, 562-435-9033. I do see, can you apply to more than one grant? For example, Long Beach Community or FENI. Yes, you can apply as long as they're for different programs. Just keep in mind, if you submit a grant application for Impact Fund to support after-school programs in Long Beach, and then you submit and you get awarded, but then you also submit an application for FENI, your application will not be deemed as considerable anymore because you have already received funding. So that's the one limitation, is once you receive funding from one of our board advised grants, you will not be receiving from another. However, so that would include the FENI, Impact Fund, and the airport noise. So of those three, our committees will approve an organization for one of those grant opportunities. However, I want to point out that Katie Stone is a donor advised fund, and that is separately managed by fund advisors to that fund. So if you are awarded a FENI grant or an impact grant, you can also potentially be awarded a Katie Stone grant. So that you can apply for more than one, but just be mindful of the consideration, and it would be much easier if they were for different programs. Let me see, Tara, are there any other questions that I can cover? Or
yeah, people, a question about for the night grant, but invitation only. How are those invitations sent out? How are they determined?
So right now, we've committed a significant portion of funding to support a grant opportunity already. However, we do want to get to know other things that are happening around the city. So if you do have a program or project that you think may qualify for consideration, you can email our info line. So we do accept email inquiries to our info line, and that is info@longbeachcf.org. But more information will be put on our website and also notified to our
Question about the follow-up to this. I know you're gonna send a link to the recording. Someone is asking, would it be possible to get a copy of the slideshow as well? I'm not sure if that's possible.
Yes, we will be providing a PDF copy as well as a link to the video. So you will be receiving both. To apply for the Community Hospital of Long Beach Foundation grant, that is accepting applications directly through our online portal. So you can go to our website and click on the application portal, and you'll find the grant application there. And if you have a question about whether your program qualifies, you can reach out to me. Just want to do a final check. Okay, aside from not filling out every field, what is something that you see often that disqualifies applicants? One of the things that often disqualifies applicants is the criteria just really does not align with the grant purpose. We've seen some applications for, community impact fund, for example, that, the last couple of years has been supporting youth and young adults in Long Beach, but there was an application that we received that was supporting seniors. So that was not within, the grant criteria. We've also, if there's no clarity as to where the funding is going, that's also been something that's disqualified folks. And by that, I mean, are you a Los Angeles-based organization who's looking for funding, but you're not telling us how much of your program is supporting Long Beach? We need to know that. If we don't know that, we're probably going to not consider it for funding. That's why the budget is so important. That's why being clear about how Long Beach Community Foundation funding would fit, if awarded, it's very important to get those details down, because if there's no clarity, then we're going to be looking at the applications that are a lot clearer and a lot more specific. All right, so we are at time. I just want to thank everyone for joining us. And like I said, we will be sharing this via email to everyone who registered, and we'll also be posting a link to the video on our website, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.